and welcome to the virtual class. Today we will see a new topic, that is the email writing, which is related to writing skill. Now students, email writing, this is a part of the communication mode. We are use a different types of communication mode like a mobile, telephone, letters. Email writing is one of the part and which is a very important. So let us see today's what is the email writing, importance, and the perfect format while writing the email writing. Okay, and their types also. Now, students, email writing, it is a written message which is sent from one person to another. Okay, it is used to communicate between the two or three peoples to deliver the important message. In older times, as we discussed before, that we are using the letter. The sender delivered the letter to the receiver. That time the postman we are using for send the letters. Okay, for passing the letters. But it will take a lot time, money and paper also. It consuming lots of time and it takes the money also and it wastage the paper also. But now in a modern world, we can use the email writing. Email writing involves sending, storing, and receiving message. It is occupy only an electronic communication system. With the help of internet only, we can use email writing. It is preferred over other form of communication, and it is the very cheaper and faster means of communication. Okay, but without the internet, you won't be able to use the email. A sender that a person who write the email, who want to be sent his or her message to the receiver, and receiver who receive the message, who receive the mail, that is the receiver. If you are using the email, okay, so that is time consuming. It cannot take a lots of time. It's not a wastage of money and not a wastage of paper or pen. Okay. So what is the email? To send the message from sender to the receiver. Sender who want to send the message and receiver who receive the message. Types of email. That is a formal email and the informal email. It can be formal, informal. I hope students, you must be clear the concept of what is the formal and informal. Formal, where you have to be behave formal, professional, business purpose. And informal, where you personally communicate casually and emotionally behave with your family members, friends, and relatives. There are the two types, formal email and informal email. Mostly people nowadays, mostly people are using emails for the formal. Okay, you as take an example of yours only, that you are using the email just for the formal to communicate with the teachers or as the school management. May I right? Now, let us see the format of email writing. What are the formats of email writing? First, you have to write the sender email ID. If you want to be write an email, so first you should be know the sender email ID. If you don't know the sender email ID, you won't be send the mail. अगर आपको email ID नहीं पता है तो आप send किसको करोगे? To whom you will send? So this is the first one, that you should be know the sender email ID. Then after, to receive email ID, receiver's email ID. Receiver's email ID यानी कि जिसको आप email कर रहे हो, the person to whom you want to be mail. Wait a minute, students. Let me clear this. Sender email ID. If you are writing the email, here will come your email ID. And receiver email ID, to whom you sending the email. And then subject. What is your subject? For what purpose you writing the email? Then after salutation. Salutation. Salutation, everyone's know that the salutation we are using in our letter writing also. That dear sir, madam, or respected ma'am or sir. Then after you main body of the email writing, and then will come the closing. Then after come the closing caption. Okay, the closing caption. This is the format of the email writing. I repeat again. I will repeat again. Okay, just a second. A sender email ID. Suppose if you are writing the email, first you should be create your email ID. And then after you have to write the receiver email ID. Then the subject, for what purpose you're writing the email. Then the salutation. Then the main body. In that main body, you have to explain for what purpose you are writing the email. Then your closing. All right. Now, this is the format. This is the format for writing the email writing. Okay. From who's writing the email, their email ID should become here. The from. To whom you give the email, that person email ID will become here. Subject. What is your subject? That you have to be mentioned. Then after salutation, dear sir, dear madam, respected sir, respected madam. Body of email, that means the whole information for what purpose you writing the email. Now the closing caption, that means thank you, yours sincerely, and the name. All right. Whose name will become here? Who's writing the email ID, that person name will become here. Okay. The few things are exactly like a letter writing. How suppose we are write a letter writing, the format of letter writing, the few things are just similar. For example, subject, salutation, and then after the closing caption. Okay. So students, if you are using email ID, okay, if you have the Gmail account in your mobile, you must have observed if you want to be compose, there is an option in your mobile. If you compose, all right, if you compose, so there the option will become. This option you are able to see from to, into, there it is written CC. Like this way it is written. Then after subject, and then after the this you have to be write it down in a big space. Down there is a big space. This you have to be write it down. The from you have to mention your email ID. You are writing the email to whom you want to be sent that person email ID. अगर आपके पास उस person का email ID नहीं है, so you won't able to send that email ID. You won't be able to send the mail. Then the subject, for what purpose you are writing. Then salutation. Then after the main body and the closing. Remember this thing, students. This is the format of writing the email writing. Let us see the next. Okay. See, if you open the email in your mobile, it will look like in this way. ये कुछ ऐसा दिखता है. Okay. So from it is not mentioned over there. To whom you have to send that person email ID. Okay. This is the subject. Okay. What is the subject? Photography studio grand opening. This is the subject they have to write. Then after salutation, this is the main body of the email. All the detailed information given over there. As we can see in later writing, your first point hai aapka, that will like a introduction part. And the second, in detail information you will give that what the purpose for writing the email writing. And the last, hope to see you. Hope to see you there, Sarita. This is the closing caption here. You have to mention this. Okay. So as you can see, the first line salutation. Start from next line, your main body of the email writing. First paragraph is over, leave one line, leave some space, then after start the second paragraph. Okay, if the second paragraph is completed, then leave some space and you have to write the salutation. A closing caption you have to write. These are the option you are can see in your mobile. ये सारे options mostly आपके mobile में आपको दिखते हैं. These are the options. Okay. Options C. Send. Once you are completed your email writing, you have to click on a send. Click on the send. So it is immediately sent to that person to whom you want to be send this email. All right. There is the delete option. These are all the setting. These all are the setting. If suppose some letters you want to be do or bold, so that time you have to use this. Some letters you want to be color, highlighted. So here we have the options to highlight it. Underline. Underline options is also there. If you want to be deleted, you don't want to keep this, you have the delete option also. Okay. So students, while writing the email writing, there are the proper format, and why there are the proper format. And if you are using in a mobile, there you have a different setting also. While using that different setting, you can make your email writing in a proper format. But as a student, you have to be write in a paper itself. Okay. Mostly you have to practice first in a paper. Directly you not be able to practice in your mobile. This information just I want to give you, you must be have the information that how to be write in a mobile also. Okay, mostly email writing we are using in a mobile. Everyone's have the email ID. Everyone's have the email ID. They are contact through the mobile, but that is used by your parents, not you people. Okay. So first, from the starting for the practice, you have to be write in your notebook. Once you know how to be write in a proper way, then after you can utilize, then after it is used in your day-to-day life and you can able to use in your mobile. Because all these things will be occupied in your future. ये सारी चीजें आपको आपके फ्यूचर में यूटिलाइज होंगे. That how to be operate in a mobile, how to be use email, while how to be use email. All right, is it clear to all? Now here students, we have one more. This all are the format, and here we have an example which I already tell you. Let me see the another example also. Just a second. Let me clear this. Now we have the another example. See in the another example also two. Okay. First will come from. यहाँ पर from आना चाहिए. First will come from. That means who's writing email. Okay. Then two. Then the subject. Then after salutation, main body and the closing caption. Okay. Now students, one more thing I want to inform you. The email, while writing the email, email writing, first you have to create an email ID. If you don't have the email ID, you won't be able to send the email. You won't be able to use the email. Understood? So if you want to be send the email, so first you should be create the email ID. And the receiver also must have the email ID. Then only you can send your message. Otherwise, it won't be possible to send it. Understood? While writing the email ID, Okay, you mostly have to be observed that we are using @Gmail. That is @gmail.com. That we utilize a backside. First, you have to mention your name or surname or the number. Okay, first you have to create your email ID. Understood? So as you can discuss with your parents have the email ID. Okay. Suppose I have my email ID. My email ID, this is one of the example students. That is my email ID. That is the 1, 2, 3, 4 SS @ gmail.com. @gmail.com. Okay. @gmail.com. It is compulsory. You have to be right in email ID. It is a compulsory. It must be there. Before you can be use letters or any number for making your email ID. While writing an email ID, it's not a simple step, students. First, you have to create the email ID. You have to be mention your proper name, okay, date of birth. Then after you have to create your email ID, and then after your password you have to create. Then only you will get your perfect email ID. This is one of the example, students. This is not my real email ID. This is one of the example. Then only you will get your perfect email ID. Understood? Email ID ऐसे ही नहीं create होता है. For that you have the different stages, different steps. Okay, and it will be utilized when you generate your email ID in your mobile. Your parents must be having email ID. Okay, if you talk to your parents, definitely they will show you, and then you will able to understand that how to be generate the email ID. But now for writing the email writing, you should be know that how to be write the email ID. Because if we are giving you such kinds of question to write the email writing, so you should be know that how to be write the email ID. Because here you have to be mention from. अब यहाँ पे from में आपको email ID mention करना है. To. Here you can see to also there are the email ID is mentioned over there. Whose email ID? John email ID. John send @gmail.com. Mostly name से ही email ID बनते हैं. Suppose my name is Sunita Singh. So Sunita Singh @gmail.com. Okay, if there is another student Rohan, so Rohan Saxena @gmail.com. That is the email ID. Okay, so this is the email ID that you have to create. This is your account. Then subject, salutation, main body, and then after closing caption. This is the format of writing the email writing. All right, dear students. Okay. So I hope everyone understand the email writing.